Today's world seems to be changing at a rapid pace, most of which is by design, in my opinion, intentional. If you've been around a while, it is very obvious. If you're younger, then it may not be so apparent to you. But I'm certain you've noticed something going on. For example, it seems the food industry, which is mostly owned by corporate conglomerates, isn't as interested in quality like they once were. The obvious motivation is only in amassing billions in profitability. Therefore, learning to garden is quickly going from a part-time hobby to being an essential part of life, as it once was before the advent of large grocery stores and refrigerated ships, trains, and trucks. So, stick around and explore what it takes to plan a successful garden. Hello, I'm Ted, your guide to gardening greatness on Ted's Garden channel. Together, we'll transform any space into a thriving oasis. And guess what? Stay with me till the end of this video and I'll share a special gift, my exclusive free ebook, The Beginner's Guide to a Flourishing Garden, packed with secrets to help kickstart your gardening adventure. Today's video has a special mission to empower anyone with a goal to master gardening, especially for those beginners among us with the knowledge and confidence to set up your very own garden. But not just any garden, a foolproof, flourishing paradise of fresh vegetables and vibrant flowers right in your backyard. In 2024, gardening has evolved, and so have the challenges and opportunities it presents. Whether it's utilizing innovative gardening techniques or simply making the most of your space, this video is your blueprint. We'll be diving deep into the world of raised beds, a game changer for both space and productivity. Raised beds are not only great for back-friendly gardening, but also for better soil control and drainage. But it's not just about constructing these beds. It's about bringing them to life with the right vegetables, companion plants, and smart design layouts. We'll explore how to make your garden not only a source of food, but also a haven of beauty and tranquility. By the end of this video, you'll have a clear, step-by-step guide to creating a garden that's resilient, productive, and enjoyable. So let's get our hands dirty and push our spirits high as we embark on this journey to green mastery in 2024. Okay, so let's discuss the benefits of using raised beds in a garden. First, we dive into planning and constructing 4 productive raised beds. It's simpler than you might think, and it's a fantastic way to get a bountiful garden. First things first, location is key. You'll want to choose a spot in your yard that gets plenty of sunlight. Think about 6 to 8 hours a day. This is crucial for the growth of most veggies and flowers. And don't forget about access to water. You don't want to be hauling buckets across your yard every day. Once you've got your spot, it's time to think about materials for your raised beds. Cedar is a great choice because it's durable and naturally resists rot. But if cedar's too pricey, pine works well too. Just remember, if it's not treated, it won't last as long. There are other materials you can consider as well, wood being the simplest and quickest way to start. You're aiming for beds that are about 3 to 4 feet wide. This makes it easy to reach the center from either side. As for length, it's up to you, but keeping each bed under 8 feet long will make managing them more manageable. Now, let's talk construction. It's like building a simple box. You'll need 4 side panels for each bed, 2 longer ones for the lengths and 2 shorter for the widths. Screw them together at the corners and voila, you've got a bed frame. To make sure they're extra sturdy, you can add a couple of stakes in each corner driven into the ground. Before you fill your beds with soil, consider placing a layer of cardboard or landscape fabric at the bottom. This is a nifty trick to prevent weeds from sneaking up into your bed. When it comes to soil, a mix of topsoil, compost, and a bit of coarse sand works wonders. This combo provides good drainage and the nutrients your plants will love. Once your beds are filled with soil, you're ready to plant. But remember, don't go overboard with planting. It's tempting to pack in as many plants as possible, but giving them enough space to grow is vitally important. Next, you need to think about companion planting. Some plants really like being near each other and can even help each other grow better. Companion planting can help reduce pest infestation, provide shade, or help in the pollination process. And there you have it. With some sunlight, good water, and a bit of care, You'll have 4 productive raised beds that are not only functional but also add a charming touch to your garden. So how do you create healthy plant combinations? Let's dive into the world of companion planting. Imagine you're hosting a dinner party. You'd want guests who get along well, right? That's pretty much what companion planting is in the gardening world. It's about pairing plants that are beneficial to each other. This can help them grow better, taste better, and even keep pests away, as I said before. It's like having your plant teams which work to create a thriving garden. Here are some winning combos in the veggie world. Think of tomatoes and basil. They're not just great on a plate, they're perfect garden buddies too. Basil helps repel pests that love to snack on tomatoes. Plus, some gardeners swear it makes their tomatoes taste even better. Another fantastic pair is carrots and onions. The strong smell of onions can keep carrot flies away. In return, carrots break up the soil, making it easier for onion roots to grow. Then there's the classic trio: corn, beans, and squash. Often called the Three Sisters, this combo is a gardening superstar. Corn provides a natural pole for beans to climb. Beans, being clever little nitrogen fixers, help fertilize the soil, which is great for corn and squash. And the squash? Its broad leaves act like a living mulch, keeping the soil moist and cool. The key is to think about what each plant brings to the table, or garden in this case. It's about creating a little ecosystem where everyone supports each other. And the best part? You end up with a garden that's not only productive but also a lot more resilient to pests and diseases. Plus, it's a great way to maximize space, especially if you're working with a smaller area. So next time you're planning your garden, think about who would be a good neighbor for your veggies. With a bit of planning, you can have a garden that's not just a bunch of plants, but a community of companions, all helping each other out. Isn't that something? Now we should discuss shade and shelter in garden planning. Let's talk about why considering shade and shelter is super important for your plants, and how you can create these conditions naturally. So first things first, not all plants love basking in the sun all day. Some of them, like ferns and hostas, really thrive in shady spots. This is where understanding your garden's light and shade patterns becomes crucial. You don't want to plant sun-loving tomatoes in a spot that's shady most of the day, right? Creating natural shade isn't as tricky as it sounds. One way to do it is by planting taller plants or trees in strategic spots. These big guys can provide a lovely canopy for the more shade-loving plants underneath. Think of it like creating a little protective umbrella of leaves. Another cool trick is to use structures like arbors or trellises. Climbing plants like ivy or some types of roses can grow over these structures and create a beautiful natural shade area. It's like hitting 2 birds with 1 stone. You get a gorgeous garden feature and a shady spot for your plants. Shelter is another key element, especially when you're dealing with delicate plants or harsh weather. Wind can be a real troublemaker for gardens. It can dry out soil, damage plants, and even uproot smaller ones. Creating natural windbreaks is a smart move. Hedges are perfect for this. They block strong winds and add a bit of privacy to your garden. Plus, they look fantastic. Remember, the goal is to mimic the kind of environment your plants would naturally thrive in. Again, with a bit of planning and creativity, you can create a garden that's not just beautiful but also a perfect home for your plants. And hey, you get to enjoy the shade and shelter too. Imagine relaxing in your garden under the cool shade of a tree, surrounded by your happy, thriving plants. Sounds like a little slice of heaven, doesn't it? Once again, it goes without saying the importance of soil in raised beds. All right, let's focus on how to prepare and maintain your soil for the best yield. You see, raised beds are fantastic because they give you more control over soil quality, which is a game changer for your plants. Now, when it comes to the types of soil suitable for raised beds, it's not a one-size-fits-all situation. You're basically looking for a balance, a mix of topsoil, compost, and something for drainage like perlite or coarse sand works wonders. Topsoil provides the foundation, compost brings in the nutrients, and perlite or sand ensures good drainage. This combo creates a rich, well-draining soil that plants love. Preparing your soil is like setting the stage for a great performance. Start by filling your raised bed with your soil mix. Make sure to break up any large clumps and remove debris that could hinder plant growth. It's like fluffing up a pillow for your plants to rest comfortably. Maintenance is key for keeping your soil in top shape. Regularly adding compost is like giving your soil a multivitamin. It replenishes nutrients that get used up by your plants. Also, keep an eye on the moisture level. You want the soil to be moist, not soggy or bone dry. Think of it like a sponge that's damp but not dripping wet. Every season, give your soil some TLC. Remove any old plants and roots and add fresh compost. This refreshes your soil, preparing it for the next round of planting. And here's a pro tip. Rotate your crops. Don't plant the same thing in the same spot year after year. This practice prevents nutrient depletion and reduces the risk of disease. Remember, the secret to a bountiful garden lies in the soil. Treat it well, and it'll reward you with an abundance of healthy, happy plants. So let's recap. The key elements for a successful garden setup. Key things to keep in mind: soil quality, sunlight, good water, and choosing the right plants. First up, soil quality. Think of soil as the foundation of your garden, like a comfy bed for your plants. You want it to be just right. If the soil is too hard or too clay-like, plants struggle to spread their roots. On the flip side, if it's too sandy, water just runs right through. The trick? Aim for a happy medium, loamy soil. It's like a blend of different types of soils, and it holds moisture without being waterlogged. You can improve your soil by adding compost or organic matter. This not only feeds your plants but also keeps the soil healthy. Next, sunlight. Plants are a bit like us. They need their sunbathing time. Most vegetables and flowers crave about 6 to 8 hours of sunlight a day. But don't worry if your garden is on the shadier side. Some plants love shade, like ferns or hostas. The key is to match your plants to your garden's light conditions. Watering is where a lot of new gardeners slip up. Too little water and your plants are gasping for a drink. Too much water and you might drown them. A good rule of thumb is to water deeply but infrequently. This encourages the roots to grow deeper, making the plants stronger. Early morning is the best time to water. It gives the plants time to soak up the water before the heat of the day evaporates it. Pro tip: try to avoid chlorinated water. Finally, plant selection. It's tempting to just pick the prettiest plants, but trust me, it's better to choose plants that will thrive in your garden's specific conditions. Consider things like how much sun your garden gets, the climate in your area, and the soil type. Local plants or native species are often a good bet because they're adapted to the local environment. And here's a personal tip: don't be afraid to experiment. Gardening is a learning process. Some plants will thrive and others might not, and that's okay. It's all part of the fun. Another little secret: talk to your plants. I know it sounds silly, but plants actually respond well to carbon dioxide and a bit of TLC. So there you have it, your starter guide to a flourishing garden. Remember, patience is key. As a side note, using the garden planner is a great way to start and stay on track. Since you stuck with me, here is the ebook offer. Simply follow the link in the description below to email me and I will respond with your ebook so you can download it. It's free. It would be very helpful if you found this dive into the gardening world useful to go ahead and give us a like nudge. It really helps our channel. And if you haven't already, hit subscribe to join our growing community of green thumbs. Don't forget to share this video with your friends and fellow garden enthusiasts. Sharing is caring, after all. Also, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Got a question about your garden? Or maybe a cool gardening tip to share? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one and I'll do my best to respond. Let's keep the conversation growing. Thanks for watching, and let's make our gardens flourish together.